Welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast, now part of the Work-Defined Podcast Network. Join us as we explore the vital role of compensation, strategy, data, and people analytics in navigating today's complex business world. With the resources of Work-Defined, we're bringing you deeper insights and actionable ideas from top HR experts. Now, here are your hosts, David Turetsky and Dwight Brown. Hello and welcome to the HR Data Labs podcast. I am your host, David Turetsky, alongside my other host, my friend, my best friend, my partner in crime from Sour.com, Dwight Brown.
I do look like your partner in crime because I'm at the office and I'm in the little pods that we have.
Yeah.
And you always look like you're in a mugshot when you're in on camera.
Yes.
I do. Yeah.
You do.
Other people don't. I don't know what it is about me.
Well, you've got that face.
Yeah. Criminal face. Thanks.
Well, no, I didn't say criminal. I didn't say that face.
You didn't have to. I knew what you meant.
Okay. Well, if that's where you're going with this, then that's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. You hurt the one feeling I have.
The one? It's like that nerve, the last one.
Exactly. That last damn nerve.
That last damn nerve. You've got a lot of last damn nerve. So what we were attempting to do last week, actually, was we were attempting to create a concept where we would use development tools in order to build artificial intelligence, and we called this the AI off. And what we found was we started down the path of actually building an AI application in, I think it was Base44.
Base44, yeah.
That's the one I use, and you use Replit.
Yeah.
But what we found is we kept spinning our wheels, and we actually got to a place where I don't think we actually wanted to go. So in this episode, we're going to continue with the AI off, but I think we're going to stay away from more of the video part of it. We'll just talk through it. So we're going to talk through the AI off and the concepts and really how we can leverage these amazing technologies to routinize the things that we do on a daily basis.
Yep.
But before we do, as we always do on the HR Data Labs podcast, what's one fun thing that no one knows about Dwight?
What was the one that I had on the episode we scrapped?
I don't know. And you can't use it, so
man. I think I was talking about being in the big dust storm.
Yes, the haboob.
The haboob, yeah.
And you showed me pictures of the haboob. That is scary shit, dude.
Yeah, that's the apocalypse right there.
Well, thank goodness it isn't, because we're all still alive.
Yeah. Well, we think we are, but how do we know that we didn't die and we're just in the next world?
We could be a particle of dust off of gigantic butterfly's wings, and the dust is about to fall to the ground, and everything ends.
Yeah.
Wow. This went south fast.
It really did. So one fun thing that nobody knows.
Actually, I can go first this time.
Yeah, please do. It'll give me time to think.
I got surprised when I dropped off my rental car, and the agent comes back in from examining the car and says, "Hey, there's damage on the front of your car."
What?
And I was like, "Are you serious?" And the guy's like, "Yeah, come here. I got to show it to you." And we go out there. Someone dented the rental car. So this car had 0 miles on it when I got it.
Oh, no.
Actually, it probably had 4. 0 miles, 4 miles, whatever. And so I'm the only one who drove it, pretty much. And this beautiful GMC Sierra truck now has a dent on the front fender because some jerk hit it and didn't own up to it. Now, it must have happened when I parked it in a parking lot, because I would have seen it, I would have felt it, I would have heard it.
Right.
And thank God I bought the collision damage waiver.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good call on that one.
Oh, yeah. So anyways, that was the last thing. Well, that was the thing that no one knows about me, is that I normally don't get into car accidents, and I certainly don't do it with rental vehicles.
When you were in New York with that, weren't you?
I was, but nothing happened in New York. I got it home and it was perfect.
Oh, this was after you got home. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
That
go to New
drives
York
me.
City. Try and keep a car perfect in New York City. I did. Try and keep a car perfect in Chester, New York. Nope.
Cannot do it. Oh,
Sorry.
I hate it.
Sorry.
I hate it when people do that kind of stuff.
Me too.
Yeah.
It's life.
I've done that, and I always leave a note.
Exactly. Well, that's
and my insurance covers it.
Well, and that's the thing is, I didn't even care. If somebody would have left a note, I'd be like, it's okay. I have the collision damage waiver. But they didn't leave a note. They didn't do anything. And it's just so jerkish to do that.
Yeah.
So
that's just not cool.
Not at all. Anyways, how about you?
Oh gosh. When I was a kid, I grew up in the country, and I love looking at your eyebrows right now, just waiting for this. So, one of my friends lived on a farm, and I used to hang out down there all the time. And I ended up with the nickname Cowboy because I would pedal my bike down there, and I'd be wearing a cowboy hat when I got there.
Okay.
So they started calling me Cowboy.
Okay, Cowboy.
And I think you know this already, that I now wear cowboy boots all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Well, now it fits.
Yeah.
But
I mean, living in Arizona, it fits right in, but I'm in Boston right now.
Shoes.
Yeah, not yet. But I mean, here in Boston, it's going to be bird poop, but
or just dog poop.
Or dog poop, yeah. Yeah.
If you're lucky. Thought we could be talking about cow tipping again, and
Oh, that reminds me. I do have a story.
No.
I'm not going to tell.
No,
it's going to be for another episode. But you just reminded me of something else that I can bring up.
Yeah, definitely. But in this case, I'm going to transition us back to the topic because we're going to
get us back on topic.
So again, what we were going to talk about was using artificial intelligence tools such as Replit and Base44. By the way, who are not sponsoring this episode, but using those as ways in which we can automate ourselves, or at least use them. And they're kind of dummy proof from the perspective of you can create a working application, whether you use it or whether you use it for others. It creates a working application that works. And it's not necessarily just simple stuff. It's pretty complex stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about that on the other side.
Hi, we're Meg and Amy from The Meg and Amy Show.
We're not only tech execs and big picture thinkers, we're also best friends.
We're curious learners. And on this podcast, we're challenging the status quo and activating the future.
And we're going to give advice about work and leadership, right, Meg?
We can't help ourselves. But this podcast is about exploring possibility, not being right.
That sounds refreshing.
For more, tune in to The Meg and Amy Show.
So, Dwight, what we were going to start to talk about was, and I think we started getting into it already, the positives and negatives of using Replit and Base44. And one of the things that I wanted to first start with was, forget about just the HR application. There are tons of applications you can create using these technologies.
Oh, yeah.
So whether it's personal stuff, I'm not going to say manage my finances through this thing because they suck anyways, but you can create some pretty intricate stuff using these technologies.
Absolutely. And it does all of the coding on the back end for you.
Yeah.
And that's really the sweet spot of it, because it allows you to do rapid iteration of applications. And like you said, I mean, you can build your own task list, entry form and report and all that kind of stuff, or recipe finder, or any myriad of different things that are out there. Matter of fact, things like that are actually good projects to start with them, just to kind of get the look and feel and how everything interacts and the way that it comes out.
And there are data structures behind it. So if you think about
Yeah.
an application stack, right? You have your user experience, which is the front end. You have logic, which is sometimes built into the UX stack. Sometimes it's built into its own stack.
Mm-hmm.
You have the middleware, and then you have the backend data side. And you have a whole bunch of security stuff and whatnot, and other things too.
Yeah.
These technologies, for lack of a better way of saying it, they handle all that stuff for you. And if they don't, they use plugins from other technologies
Right.
to be able to do that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities really are endless. And I don't think I even showed you the practice management tool that I built in the last week and a half that aggregates data, because we have all this different data that we track and all that kind of stuff, but it's all over the place. And it's so I was just toying with it to see what kind of data aggregation. And I mean, both you and I have extensive history in the tech and analytics space, and you think about any of the times that we built dashboards, scorecards, whatever you want to say,
Mm-hmm.
how much design went into that, and how much time and effort. And now applications like this make it, you can bang out a good scorecard in 5 minutes with it.
Well, and it's not even just about the scorecard itself. It's that it handles all of the graphing. It handles all of the interactions with the graphing. It allows you to export the stuff in a more concise or consistent way.
Yeah.
So it provides you with export tools like to CSV or XLS or PowerPoint.
Yeah.
It's so advanced with, and all of this, by the way, is by using natural language. You're typing in. It would be great if,
right,
kind of like the way you do as a product manager, it would be wonderful if the user could do this, or the user wants to leverage this data to do that.
Yeah.
You're building a story, and it uses that story to be able to create what you're asking for. And it doesn't argue with you about it.
Right. It doesn't huff and puff. It doesn't get impatient. It's great.
Yeah. What I wanted to try and show you is I actually have, when I was a head of product management at Workscape, which got bought by ADP a long time ago, we used to use index cards. I don't know if you could see this.
Oh, yeah.
We used to use index cards to be able to create stories. And the top part of the story was always, or the headline was the top, and it says, work with the best R&D team. And the bottom part says, as part of the compensation performance system team, it was a compensation and performance, maybe succession team. We are proud to
have such a motivated, here, I can read it better than you can. We are proud to have such a motivated and innovative team in R&D, acceptance criteria, working with the best every day.
And then below, we used to put on the side how many points it would be, because in the agile world, you always had points associated with it to make it, whether it was a big or a small story.
Oh, okay.
And so that I put infinite number of points. So,
that's awesome.
But that's the kind of language that you use, and you don't even need to give acceptance criteria. I mean, I'm sure the technology would love it if you gave more acceptance criteria. But it just listens to what you say, and it listens in context of what it's already built and says, let me think about that. Wow, that's a really good idea. And actually in Base44, it tells you it's a really great idea. Let's do that.
That is one of the fun things about them is they're always pumping up your ego.
Yeah.
No matter what you tell it, it tells you that's a great idea.
Yeah,
that's a fantastic idea.
They don't go, well, that's a crappy idea. Why would you do that?
I think so. I think somebody should build an application that does that, though.
Yeah.
Remember that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life.
Remember
what were you smoking?
The motivational posters that was like a cat hanging there?
Oh, yeah.
And then there was another company that came along and built the cat hanging there, and it goes, well, another day I just have to hang around here for 8 more hours or something like that. That's the way I feel. One was called Successories, and I forget what the other one was called.
Yeah, I know exactly the company you're talking about. Yeah, they always had it was the total opposite of
Exactly.
the messaging of Successories.
And I used to buy
some
those
of them
and
were
put them in my
classic.
colleagues' rooms, and they'd look up on the wall and they'd be like, "Wait a minute, what the hell's that?" Yeah. So, but what you're saying is that we should develop one that just does that,
right?
Yeah, that would be very popular.
It probably would be
for pessimists.
But yeah, I mean, you do have that. You've got that natural language interaction, like you're talking about, and the interesting part is as you get into these more and more, and especially if you do some reading on how to actually structure the instructions for it, there is some structure that you start to build into the way that you tell it to do things. So for example, you always it's always better to say you are in the role of a market leading educator or whatever that is, and your goal for this project is to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
And if you start to formulate it that way, it tells it a lot more about and gives it a lot more about what it can infer into things.
Yeah, you're giving it context. You're giving it more context, and
much like a human being.
And actually, it does infer a lot of context, which, to your point, may not be as good. But if you're not providing it the context, it actually does go and try and listen for it. And what's fascinating is that when I've built some things that have helped me in my job to do my job more efficiently, it understands, it leverages what I'm telling it, and to your point, the context, to be able to ask me questions or to put things in that I didn't even ask for, but would be logical consequences of the request.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. It's like this brain that's processing in the background. It's kind of scary in a way.
Like we could call it some kind of intelligence. What could we call it? It's not natural intelligence. What could we call it?
Unnatural intelligence?
Unnatural intelligence. That's perfect.
See, AI is so,
it's weird.
We've gotten to the point where we don't even want to say it anymore.
No, I don't want to use those two letters.
Yeah.
Enjoying the conversation? Don't forget to hit subscribe so you never miss an episode packed with insights and strategies. Now, let's dive back in. But let's kind of move on from this, because one of the things that I think we should talk about is that it doesn't do this on its own. You need to have background in whatever you're developing. You need to be an expert.
Right.
Because it's not going to build something that you didn't tell it to. What it's going to build is exactly what you tell it to.
Right.
And so, it will lead a little bit. It will infer a little bit, but without that context. So don't think that you can just go to these technologies and develop something that might be groundbreaking, but that you have no knowledge of. You can't, like we've talked about it the other day, I think, try and solve the stock market. Or solve world peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That application I tried to build in ChatGPT. Yep.
Right. It's not going to build for you a way of accumulating wealth that we could ask it to win the lottery. It's 1.7 billion now.
I was sorely disappointed when I learned that. I thought for sure it was going to make me rich.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and the genie in the bottle, you know.
But that's one of the things about greed, right? Greed is, you're not going to get satisfied if you're looking for satisfying your greed from this. Not going to happen.
Right.
But if you want it to help you do your job better, this is potentially a really great way of being able to utilize your skills and your knowledge in this area, or build your skills in the way in which the new world is going, with using these technologies as your companion, as your friend.
Yeah, it's it really is fun, and especially as you start to layer on top of things. You you tell it right up front, kind of the basics of what you need. We talked about having the goals, being able to state the goals, but then it gives you an opportunity to have it built magically in front of you, test it out a little bit, see how it works, see what's not working, layer on another added level of complexity. And that's really the key to it, is that you don't give it this huge text blob that's got all the details and everything.
Right.
It's going to probably create a bad creation for you.
Well, it may fall in on its own weight because you've
Right.
basically tried to solve for world peace right away.
So you just layer in little by little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like you do with the dev team. I mean, it definitely mirrors the dev process quite a bit. Iterate, fix, iterate, fix, iterate, fix. And eventually you get to this point where you've got this really rich application that you built, and it took you very little time, very little effort, and it was fun along the way, at least for nerds like us.
Yeah, definitely for nerds like us. Now, if you're not a nerd, you're going to hate this entire episode. You're going to be like,
exactly.
wow, could they just shut up? But that's one of the problems is if you're not a nerd, and by the way, we're talking about using nerd tools with natural language.
Yeah.
We're not developing it with scripts. Yeah, I took a Python class, but I'm not using it in this.
Right.
You'd be surprised at how this is very much like ChatGPT and the other, generative AI products.
Yep.
But it's building something that is useful beyond you, and it's useful beyond. Well, I mean, it could be beyond a use case, but it helps you with use case one at a time.
Right. Yeah.
And it's these tools that Dwight and I have been talking about for a long time on episodes with, Mr. Morrow and with, a few other people. Well, a lot of other people.
A lot of other people.
But Jordan, we talked about this with Jordan a lot, right?
Right.
And it's not going away. So
No.
maybe you need to get a little geek.
I think you definitely do. And you don't have to get a lot of geek. It's got sort of a self-propulsion built into it where when you're able to build something cool, all of a sudden it feels a lot cooler to you and you want to try something else.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing, it's just like everything, there has to be human oversight of it. Because one of the cautionary notes that you hear out there, you read in the books is it's good at building the code and it's good at building something that's going to work for you. But things like security, that stuff, if you built an application that was meant to be an external facing application, you're going to want somebody who knows what they're doing to review the code and make sure that you've got the security built in, especially if you've got pay portals built in. Because it will build the pay portal for you. But that's not to say it builds it in a way that is SOC 2 compliant or safe,
Well, I think you're getting to the deployment aspect of this, which is, this is good. These things are good with ideation and creation. But the moment you go to deployment, you need professionals to help you get it to that next level.
Right.
Because this will do a lot of the coding part. This is vibe coding. This will get you to the place you want to get to. But it's not going to be for commercial purposes until you get someone else to help you. Now, in Base44, I think those services you can get those services from Base44. I'm not sure about Replit.
Right. Yep. Replit too.
Yeah. So when you get to the part where you're satisfied and this is a commercially viable product, that's what you're going to need to do. But there's another aspect we haven't talked about yet. Not even just deployment, Dwight, but cost. This is not free. And even if it was, what's the old terminology that my father-in-law used to teach me? Free is never free.
It's never free. That's true. That's true. But it's
So,
not incredibly expensive
no.
either, especially when you think about the thousands and thousands of dollars that goes into the dev build cycles. For example, I have in Replit built, I think, 6 applications.
Wow.
And to date, I think I've spent a total of $150 on
Wow.
Replit fees to get them there. And a couple of them were just kind of junk things that I was just tooling around. There wasn't anything big and robust, but
Yeah.
I'd say I've built 4 robust applications in there. And knowing what I know now, I could also decrease my cost too, just in terms of the way that I coded it and the way that I thought about it.
But it makes you more productive. So
Right.
while there's that cost, which is a real dollar cost,
Yeah.
you may have saved yourself in terms of time and in terms of effort
Right.
a lot less than that, or a lot more than that, actually.
Yeah.
So it may have offset just $150. I mean, I don't remember what Base44 charges, but I've only been using it for 2 months, and I've gotten far more value than whatever the monthly rate is for the plan that I'm on. So,
Yeah.
but these are all things that have to go into your algorithm for whatever you're going to create and how you're going to create this.
Right.
But also think of this as an investment, because this is the future. If you haven't heard it on this podcast, if you haven't heard it on other podcasts that talk about HR and the impact of where technology is going,
Right.
this is it.
This is the tip of the iceberg.
Oh yeah.
It is. And I think it's also worth mentioning, we've talked about Base44 and Replit. Those are applications that were expressly built for the vibe coding.
That's right.
And so, you're interacting and you're seeing the preview as you go. But you can do this through the other LLM platforms. You can do this in ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I think, actually has a preview functionality. Some of the others don't. So it's spitting out code, and then you have to load that code in Python, for example,
Right.
and test it in Python. So you've got to have your tech stack built for those. And to me, those tools, vibe coding becomes sort of a 201 as opposed to a 101 kind of leveling with it.
Yeah.
Because you've got to have everything configured on your system for the tech stack that you're going to use for it.
Yeah.
And
whereas these are basically like starting tools.
Right.
Maybe a little bit more than prototyping tools, but they're really good at getting solutions built. I mean, Bubble.io is another one I tried.
Okay.
It was a little more
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, it was a little more technical than I was ready for.
Yeah.
There's a couple other quick case.
Cursor's another one.
So which one?
Cursor,
yes.
that's another one that's more technical.
But there are a lot of others, and again, we're not sponsored by anybody on this.
Right.
We're basically just telling you about all the different capabilities that are out there. But we're going to keep experimenting with this, and we're going to keep going with it. And maybe in a future episode, we might share with you some of the more successful experiments. But I think what Dwight and I wanted to try and do in this episode, I think we've accomplished it, which is to kind of lay out all the different facts of what vibe coding can do to help you in your career, but also just for the future.
Right. Exactly. We've been having a lot of discussions internally about skills and competencies around AI, and we had some back and forth about the fact that there's not a lot defined currently for AI skills and competencies, but that's because the technology is so young that it hasn't had the chance to mature. And we anticipate there are going to be splinter pieces like the vibe coding that come out. And so our intent with the show is to be able to go out there and start to experiment with those and bring that to you, the audience, what the experience is, and what the positives and pitfalls are with it.
What we're going to do is we'll also post some of the links to Replit and Base44 and some of these others that we mentioned, like Cursor, Bubble.io, in case you want to try them. But also, please feel free, go to Coursera and look at some of the vibe coding courseware that are out there to get you more familiar with where all this stuff is going.
Yeah. It's a perfect place to do the learning. And the beauty of it is that, we were joking that free is not free, but you can really start to get a taste of it if you do the free version of these things.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also there's free Coursera too.
Yeah.
You can actually take courses in Coursera with no credit.
Right.
But if you wanted to get certifications that are LinkedIn friendly, you pay the $50, I think it is. Yeah. And you can get that certification. It's actually really a good tool for your skills base and for your resume.
Right. Exactly.
If you've been following us for years, or at least if this is the first time you've heard it from us, you've gotten the hint that there are two things that we're passionate about. Number one, we want you to hear the slings and arrows we're going through, because as we suffer through things, you're going to as well. And the second thing is we want to bring to you what we're hearing and what we're experiencing in the front end of this HR technology madness. So,
right.
Live through our example, or don't, actually.
And leave us your feedback.
Yes, exactly. Tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you for listening. Dwight, thank you for being here.
Thank you. Another fun episode.
It was. Thank you all for listening. Take care. And as always, stay safe. Thank you for listening to the HR Data Labs podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share it with your network. Also, check out the HR Data Labs Brown Bag Lunch every Friday on LinkedIn. You can also check out the recordings on Spotify. Thank you, take care, and stay safe.